everyone, welcome back. I hope everyone is doing great today. I'm out here, I live in Arizona currently, and it's a beautiful, magical day, and I kind of wanted to take this time to walk you guys through my patio garden in the beginning and the works of it, because it is nowhere near being complete, but this is a great growing season for us, because in the summer it actually gets way too hot and a lot of things end up perishing away because it's super, super hot. So I kind of wanted to just walk you through all the things that are currently growing, that are thriving at the moment, and what my plans are in the future. Please, again, so you guys know this is a beginning phase, so excuse some of the messes. I'm transitioning into potting different things. Some things are dormant, so you won't see quite a bit, but again, a progression will eventually be shown later on, and I'll show you where we get to. So let's go ahead and get started with our first pots. So you guys know I did buy these pots which cling onto the side of the rails. I bought them at Home Depot, and I had to go that route because I didn't want to have anything clinging on the off side of it, just in case it was ever too windy and it kind of fell down. Especially since I don't live necessarily on the first floor, so it'll be hitting someone, and well, I don't want to get a lawsuit either because I'm poor. So now we're going to talk about our snow peas. I have some beautiful snow peas that I actually started growing from seed, and I'm very well aware they usually have a trellis that they grow up onto, but in today's case, I'm just kind of experimenting to see if they will ever become a drooping kind plant that kind of droops and falls over the side of the container. They do have some blooms currently happening at the moment that are a majestic yellow, like a sunset color, but these are really gorgeous. I'm really excited to see the progression of those underneath all of these containers. So in every single one of these containers, there is 6 tulips. They're called I cannot remember the name quite right now, but I'll link it below as to what the name of them are. But they're like an apricot color, and I think they're going to be gorgeous as well. So all of these have tulips, and there's 6 plants in each of these, so I have about 48, I believe. Now to the next pot, I have some chives, and this one was actually just a quick spur of the moment buy. I bought this from one of our local grocery stores, so the ones that you see that have like a little root system, I bought it, and it's just been potted in here, and it's been growing and thriving ever since. I potted this about, say, early November. It is currently January, and you can see all these ribbons of emerald green just growing, and I'm actually going to be using these in one of my other videos to make a beautiful dish that I got super inspired by these. I also have some flowers growing on the bottom of these, and when I first planted these, I did have the tags for all of these flowers that I was growing, but during our heavy raining season in December, which is usually not what happens in Phoenix and in Scottsdale, but for some reason we got a really rainy December, they kind of all perished and were thrown away. So forgive me if I don't know exactly what I'm growing in at this moment. It'll be a surprise for you and for me. Some of these are still in the dormancy phase, so there's not growing anything in these containers, but I do have flowers in seed form as well as tulips in each of them. In this one, I have a mint, which again, I just bought from a local Home Depot. It was just one of the container ones that I bought, and I placed it inside, and it's been growing beautifully. It doesn't look very large, but I've already trimmed it one time so to promote its growth, and this one was really hit by a lot of rain as well, so I'm actually quite happy with the progression of it now. In this one, I have some begonias growing. They're barely starting to sprout their little leaves here, and I will show you the progression, but I'm super excited for these, and I love these little flowers. I have some little twine here that was for another project. And then here we have some crocus flowers, which again, these got affected by the rain really badly. I thought they were kind of donezo, but they've come out and they bloom beautifully. That is the magical thing about gardening, is that as much as you think you can kill them, plants are actually quite strong and it can fight through a lot of adversity. So I love doing this project. I have some more tulips growing, and then the rest of the ones going forward are dormant at the moment. Down here, I do also have some basil. This basil is beautiful, but my story behind this is I actually just got this from a little pot from an Aero garden. Didn't think it would actually grow if I put it into the ground, but I've actually had a lot of success with it. And it started off as like a miniature little cutting that we had left over, and it's grown into this beautiful, majestic plant that it is flowering at the moment. So a lot of you guys may have some suggestions about cutting these off and not leaving them flower, because basil, what happens when it starts to flower, it starts to produce a lot of energy into reproducing. But what we're gonna do is I let it flower, I cut it off, and the main reason why I let it flower, to be honest with you, is I have a lot of bumblebees around us and hummingbirds, and I just can't help but give them something that they want to kind of sit on and enjoy. So I'm being a little bit selfless, not to myself, but to the bumblebees and the hummingbirds. But I definitely know that if I cut these off, I'd have a much better flavored pesto or basil dish. I am going to be cutting some of these leaves off, though, to use in one of our dishes that you guys will see in the future. And then on the other side, as a companion plant, I have a little tomato. This was actually also a cutting from one of my co-workers. Her name is Donna. She loves her tomato plant, and I respect her for her tomato growing abilities. However, mine is still a little baby, but compared to what it was before, it was literally like a quarter of an inch, 2 little sprouts, and I thought it was gonna die. She gave me 6 and only 1 survived, but the one that did survive is doing magical things here. Its root system is quite large, and its root systems. Its stem is quite large now, and it's starting to build up some bulkiness. It did have an offset somewhere, but I cut that one off just because I felt like it was competing with the other stem that was doing a little bit better. I just trimmed that off, allowing it all the energy to be preserved onto this one singular stem. This Thai basil, the reason why I have it is, like I said, I use Aero gardens indoors, especially during the summer when everything wants to die off. And so you can see that it's still currently in a pot. But since I had so much success with this basil, I'm going to go ahead and try it with the Thai basil, which, as you can tell, has flowered quite a bit. It's gone through quite a bit of a life cycle, and we have enjoyed it for a long time. So if nothing ever comes out of fruition with this one, I'll be definitely okay. But I'm hoping to see what I can make out of this. I also have a rosemary that, again, I did the same thing as I did with my chives. I just took them right out of a container that I bought from a grocery store. So I also have a rose bush here. It has some beautiful creamy white, yellow, and pinkish tones to it. But again, also in dormancy. You can see a lot of it is flushing back. So I see like little leaves barely starting to sprout from the little segments and the little eyes of the rose bush. This is my rose bush, and I'll give you guys the progression of that later on, but it is beautiful, and it's starting to come right back, so I'm super proud of it. On this side, I also have another Zinfandel hydrangea. This one is not in our growing zone. So in Arizona, growing hydrangeas is quite difficult, not super easy. It's for more of an advanced gardener, which I don't consider myself an advanced gardener. I consider myself a novice or a beginner, but I have been doing it for about 5 years. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and try it out this year and bring it indoors when it's nice and ready for the hot season to begin. Last but not least is my favorite of all of these containers, which is my birthday containers, what I like to call it. I got all of these as a gift for one of my birthdays for one of my special friends, and so it is a Meyer lemon tree that on the very bottom I planted some flowers, which, forgive me, I do not know the name of these flowers. I kind of picked them out of a blue from a gardening center, and they produce the most beautiful baby pink flowers with a beautiful yellow inside. Look at that canary yellow just kind of poking right through. And so it is on the bottom, and these started off as like a small, like 2-inch container pot, and they've taken over the bottom alongside of our other flower here. And you guys can see the bell shapes on these and the beautiful variegation color on the inside. And then last but not least is my Meyer lemon tree. The biggest pride and joy that I have in here, because I absolutely love Meyer lemons, and you can see here that one is starting to barely start to ripen. It's starting to get some color on it. It's much more chartreuse and yellow than, say, this one over here, which is very vibrant green. But you have to keep them watered so that this produces enough juice. I can feel it starting to soften, and I'll give you guys an update, whether it be on Instagram or on here, as to how this is turning out. And you can tell it's developing really well, because there has been a lot of growth of these little flowers throughout the entirety of the plant, which is what you want to see. When I first got this, I put some root hormones to the bottom of it, let it do its thing. I didn't necessarily want these plants to compete too much, so I was hoping for the best of this. And if I had to take these flowers out of the bottom in order for the Meyer lemon tree to survive, I would have. But as companion plants, they've been doing excellent, so I haven't had to do much work to any of these. And I only water them here in Arizona, since it is the winter time. I only water them 2 times a week with about a gallon of water until I can see it kind of flowing through the bottom. This is quite a large container. If you're growing Meyer lemons, you definitely have to check as whether they're a dwarf variety or a larger variety. This one is a dwarf Meyer lemon, so it's going to be appropriately sized for my pot, but eventually I will have to get a much larger pot. That is all I actually have for my garden at the moment. I am going to chop off some basil and chop off some chives so I can use it in a dish for you guys to watch a video of me making some deliciously lemony fresh pasta, which is clearly something that I'm inspired by here in my garden on my patio. So I hope you guys will stick around for the next video. Again, if you like this one, feel free to subscribe, hit the notification button, and we will see you guys in the next one. Bye.